Big exciting news as Republicans make final revisions on their second stimulus package, which they'll introduce next week. Nancy Pelosi's frustrated, however, because she can't find a hairdresser to make final touch-ups on her stuff as well. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is LLA. Congratulations. You're getting a second stimulus package. You're getting a second stimulus check. It's going to be coming to you shortly. And it's all going to be introduced next week in what's called a new Republican bill. Big news reported first on this channel, and exciting news really just within the last few minutes that updates more about this incredible second stimulus package coming to you next week. For the first time ever, this is Afternoons LALATE as well. I gotta tell you, what you watching? If you like this channel, certainly subscribe and like the video. Coming up after this video is usually hazard bait, but for the first time ever, I'm going to be merging that with a special report about state and local and how important the focus will be in the next few days about the second stimulus package and its messaging after shocking comments today by the president that may confuse the situation. So tune in for that special report, which mirrors a little bit of what's going on in this video as well, right after this. Then we go into FPUC, big developments on FPUC and PUA, all that wonderful stuff. And finally, rent eviction. Please watch that video. I have shocking new details about the eviction moratorium you have never heard anywhere until now. Let me get right to the details. A Republican proposal will be introduced next week, and boy, it has been it has been grounds for a lot of confusion. So let me dispel the false reports that are out there with people doing this and people doing that and this, and even broadcast news reporters. First, this is not the skinny bill. Even Chuck Schumer refers to it as a skinny bill. It's ironically small, but it's not the skinny bill that everyone talked about a few weeks ago. That's the first thing. Second, some channels at least certainly say that no one has seen drafts of it and we don't know what's in it. Well, we haven't seen drafts of it, but we absolutely know what's in it because Mark Meadows has gone over line item what's in it. More about that in a second. Of course, I've been detailing it to you for days. More about that in a second. Third, people say that they don't know how much money is going to be allocated in it. We do know the amount of money that's allocated in it. Next, they also say, and this is what's crazy, that they have heard there's no stimulus checks in this package coming up next week. You know, had you had your ears closed? Are you wearing those Princess Leia earmuffs again in the middle of August? Are you Javier Carranza running around with scarves wrapped around your face in the middle of 90-degree weather? There is a second stimulus check in the package. Mark Meadows said it no less than half a dozen times in the last 3 days. Now, what this is stemming from is bad reports looking at that other bill from 2 weeks ago, which is old news. What I need you to understand as we sit here today on a Thursday afternoon, as we're getting ready for the weekend, we're all excited, I'm there, you're here, is that this is very fluid and this is the current situation. You need to divest yourself of anything you've heard from HEALS Act, HEROES Act, Skinny Bill over the last 3 to 5 weeks. That is all gone. And I know it's a little confusing to forget things that you've heard about before, but what's happening is people are relying upon old stuff and thinking that old stuff is still on the burner. It's not. Let's get to the incredible details. $1,200 second stimulus check. It will be in the proposal next week. $1,200 second stimulus check for individuals. Married couples, $2,400 second stimulus checks. Dependents will get a second stimulus check. First time for adult dependents. Under the first stimulus package, adult dependents, many of which who are on benefits, did not get a stimulus check. They didn't get one the first time around. Why? Because the first stimulus package said anyone 18 years of older is not eligible for a stimulus check. Horrible. Well, after that, Republicans and Democrats realized they made a mistake, along with a lot of things, the other things they made a mistake about. And they said, the next time we're not going to do that. So incredible great news is that dependents will get a stimulus check. The stimulus check is an amount that is simply not clear yet. Republicans in the past have proposed $500, not $1,200, that we shall see. Next, the issue of child support. Republicans in the past have said we will take out for child support. Democrats have said we will not take out for child support. And finally, the number of people in the household. That seems to still be a real issue of lack of clarity. The president, a couple of weeks ago tweeted that he wanted a $3,800 check to go out. Or was it 3,800, 3,900. It was a strange number. And immediately I told viewers, I know what the number is. It's $1,200 for husband and wife, and then it was $500 for the kids. Whatever that math is, 1,500, 12, I don't know. 1,500 plus 2,400. Yeah, there we go, 3,900. That's what he was talking about. So are Republicans going to do $500 dependents next week? I don't know. All right, next thing you need to know about the stimulus check in the stimulus package next week is that it's going to be a very fluid situation. And I got to say this to you as well. What I'm reporting to you today is what Mark Meadows has said. I'm not writing the bill. I'm not introducing the bill. I'm not there voting on the bill. So if Mark Meadows introduces a bill next week that says, let's say the dependence is at $400, I don't want you coming with a whip and saying, LALATE, yes, that is $500. I'm not Carol Baskin. You're not Carol Baskin. I'm not your lions. Don't feed me a place to, Shamu or Simba over in the corner. Please, let's dance to Dancing with the Stars together and be very happy. What Mark Meadows has done is given us an extensive briefing of what's going to happen next week. But as a lot of viewers of this channel certainly understand, these people sort of digress by the minute. But he fully has briefed us as well that the situation is going to be very fluid. So, for example, if you see next week the bill introduced, let's say on a Wednesday, and it calls for $500 dependent stimulus check, I don't want you to just go ape crap on me and just say, oh my God, how could they do $500 dependents? I don't want you to do that because these things are very fluid. We're not to a vote. We're not to a vote even in the Senate. Why am I saying this? Well, the first stimulus package, remember that one? Before I existed. I wasn't born then. I was just, I was like Mr. Peanut. I was going in the ground. The bill originally called for multiple checks. A check every month for 4 months of $1,200, the first stimulus package said, CARES Act 1. Now, if you had watched it with bated breath and said, we're getting a check every single month, thank God, and then sort of turned off the TV and then turn it back on for the next few days, you would have been shocked and horrified when you realized, wait a second, it's now one check. That's what congressional people do. They start with something, they change it. So it can start really good, it can go very bad, it can start very bad and go very good. So you need to stay with me, and you need to digress you need to clear your brain of anything you've heard over the last couple of weeks, because this is all brand new stuff. All right, next, FPUC. That's going to be extended in the second stimulus package as well. Tune into my video, which is 1 hour from now, in which I go over what's going to happen in FPUC 2.0, how it's going to be calculated. I'll also explain what's going on with LWA. And finally, if you still are confused about the situation, you should tune into the final video tonight on Evenings LALATE, which is this video is usually uploaded at about 7:15 Pacific Standard Time, which is 10:15 Eastern Standard Time. It's the one that has a thumbnail of LALATE Evenings with fishermen in the picture. That one, for the first time ever, I'm going to be answering your PUA, UI, FPUC, and EIDL questions, because I know you have a lot of them. All right, so let's get to the interesting news, which is how this is going to happen next week. What you're going to see is this is going to be introduced to the Senate. It's going to be introduced by Senate Republicans, and they're going to push it for a vote right away. The turnaround time that Mark Meadows has represented is 1 week. 1 week for Senate vote, 1 week for House vote, and then get it to the president in the same week for approval. Now, a lot of you have asked, well, how is this going to get routed over to the House? Is the Temple of Doom going to, block it? Mark Meadows' representation is he has House Democrats on board. Ultimately, I'm reporting to you what he's saying. The Temple of Doom has really not spoken too much about what's looming. We will see more next week, and we're going to see a lot of rhetoric. But that is the turnaround time. Now, there's some shocking details today about what's really going on. I'm going to be going over Biden's economic plan, new scandals among Democrats, Schumer on stimulus, and why this whole thing may sort of change very quickly next week. All right, first, Biden introduced today more details about what his stimulus plan would be, and this would really very quickly follow this current stimulus package. But are there stimulus checks in there? If you listen carefully, I don't hear them, ironically. He says he would invest in manufacturing American jobs, support equitable, clean energy economy, address climate change, build more infrastructure, make childcare more affordable, increase wages and benefits for workers, including the minimum wage, extend unemployment benefits, so that's good, and help small business owners and entrepreneurs. Interesting. No stimulus checks. No hazard pay. Yeah, so there's a couple things missing in there. How would he pay for it? He would increase corporate tax rate. He would require a minimum 15% of a company's books income, roll back income tax deductions, capital gains tax changes, and subject earnings over $400,000 to Social Security payroll tax. Interesting. Now, it's also really interesting is this number. It goes fairly in contradiction to Temple Doom. His proposal would be $7 trillion over 10 years, but really would ostensibly be $1 trillion next year. Okay, Temple of Doom thinks she needs 2.3 now, or 2.4. A week ago, she said she needed 3.1. Biden says he only needs $1 trillion next year. Interesting. And he's not even referencing the existence of Pelosi's bill itself. I guess less Democrats are supporting the Temple of Doom than ever saw before. Another twist. Democrats today introduced 3 standalone bills to get you second stimulus checks really fast, and they had really great protests all across the country to ensure you're getting second stimulus checks right away. No, of course not. That did not happen. What they did do is come up with 3 new scandals. I just don't know what's going on with this party. The Democrats are back with now 2 to 3 more scandals just today alone. Okay, first scandal. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee are asking for an investigation of the Trump RPC, Republican National Convention rally that was at the White House, and it wants to see a violation of the Hatch Act. We are alarmed that President Trump used senior administration officials and actively undermined compliance with respect for the law. Okay, scandal number 1. Scandal number 2. House Oversight Committee today also subpoenaed the post office postmaster, that guy again, Louis DeJoy, for records about widespread mail delivery. Quote, it's clear that a subpoena has become necessary to further the committee's investigation, help inform potential legislative actions, says Maloney. Which Maloney? Yeah, that Maloney. Maloney out of New York. Boy, they don't really seem to get it, do they? And then there's Chuck Schumer. I can't even say this in the straight face. The man whose party just came out with 2 more scandals today and no stimulus relief had yet another comment to make, and that was slamming everyone across the other side of the party line. I was hopeful, with the highest unemployment since the Great Depression and the worst public health crisis since 1918, we could make progress in our negotiations with the White House during the month of August, said Chuck Schumer. I like that. That's a good sentence. But President Trump, led by Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, has embraced a hardline view that the federal government should be doing less, not more, during this time of national crisis. What does that mean? Doing less? What does that mean, Chuck? Put it in Broadway terms for me, Chuck. Maybe I'll understand Broadway terms because you did that Broadway, though. Less, does that mean less choreography in the opening number? Does that mean less dancing seals and less dancing whales in the opening dance sequence? I don't know what that means. Based upon their self-described lack of urgency, the continued division of the caucus, and this most recent inadequate proposal, it's clear the Republicans are trying to check the box and give the Americans the appearance of action rather than actually truly being profound to the needs of the American people. Okay, that had like about 3 lies in there. Let me go over each lie. First, the most recent inadequate proposal, there is no proposal. See, this is where all the bad reporting stems from. Chuck Schumer just told you that there was a Republican bill introduced. There's not one. What was talked about over the last 2 weeks was a draft of something that was never introduced, never put on the floor, sat on someone's computer. So what's the most recent inadequate proposal? There is none. You're going to see it next week. That's the proposal, and it won't be a proposal. It'll be a bill. Next, he said lack of urgency. No. Mark Meadows says that your group wouldn't meet. We already know that your group wouldn't meet. So who's talking about lack of urgency? Moreover, Mark Meadows has been meeting with Senate Republicans and Democrats apparently for the last 2 weeks nonstop. Is that untrue, Chuck? And then he says continued division of their caucus. You know, that's a common line these people have. Your group is not lined. Our group is gray. It's sort of like, you know, you're going to play basketball. It's like you got, you know. We got Jordan, we got Scotty, and who do you got? You got Bird. It's like, you know, it's like, come on already. Let's just check this a little bit interestingly, though. There is that group that wrote 300 people that are Democrats in both the House and the Senate that wrote letters to Nancy and Steve and Chuck that said, hey, we don't agree with what you're doing. That's, you know, that's absolutely not division of the caucus. It's just not at all. Yeah, you're completely all together. Yeah, Chuck. Then there is this. Republicans may call their proposal skinny, but it'll be more appropriate to be called emancipated. Oh, I don't like his humor. Their proposal appears to be completely inadequate and by every means fails to meet the needs of American people. Okay, this is why people hate politicians. We don't have the bill, Chuck. Chuck, we don't have the bill. What are you talking about? I just, you know, is this like pantomime theater where we just do this? I was like, I'm going to talk to you about the bill, which no one has seen. It's just the imaginary wall in front of me. It's just, we just need to bring in some mimes for Chuck Schumer when he talks, because, you know, with some white gloves and some face paint. Just, let me tell you about how their proposal is completely inadequate by every measure. We don't have the measures. If we had the measures, I wouldn't be dealing with other channels on YouTube that says, you know, that one provision, they've actually, you know, the other channels are saying, we don't know it because we haven't seen it. Here's Chuck Schumer. He's, you know, he sees the future. The future is just lots of bagels. We brought up the number. I had a conversation with Speaker Pelosi. Now that here's Mark Meadows. I had Speaker Pelosi. She put forward a number and she came down and she was willing to come down $1 trillion. And I said, what is that number for? And she wouldn't give me the number. Oh boy. And then Mitch McConnell spoke today as well. I do think we need to reach an agreement. It's harder now because we're closer to the election. Very true, Mitch. The cooperative spirit we had in March and April has dissipated as we move closer and closer to the election. Very true. So, as the flies try to eat me alive, who knows if I'll make it to the next broadcast. There we go. I mean, you have Democrats now, no less than 2 scandals, and on Thursday afternoon, you know, it's early in the afternoon. We have a few more hours. Let's see what else they can come up with. You have them claiming that the Republican proposal is inadequate by every measure when we haven't seen the Republican proposal. So we haven't seen one measure of any part of the Republican proposal. It's not the skinny bill. And so this is where a lot of people, unfortunately, you, the viewers, you, the American citizens, get confused because politicians don't even tell you what the situation currently is. I mean, it's very hard to even grasp what's going on if you have Chuck Schumer, who's one of 4 people that's supposed to be at the core of the negotiations, can't even with a straight face tell you exactly the truthful situation of what's going on before we even get to the details of what's going on. Do you think he'll vote for Carol Baskin on Dancing with the Scars? Did I say Dancing with the Scars? You know, that might be what's called next week. I just came up with that. Anyway, I hope she eats it up alive, you know, Carol, when she goes on there. And, you know, it's going to be an interesting 7 days. I want you to understand that when I'm here to report to you what people are reporting as elected officials, what they're saying as elected officials. And what I have to do is I have to filter through the true and the correct, and the false and the misleading, and the superlatives and the lack of facts. And so it's unfortunate that some people may take my words and understand my words to be predictors, or to be statements of facts. No, what I'm just telling you is what people are saying they're going to be doing and what they're representing to the American people. So ultimately, if next Tuesday comes around and you're waiting around and you're like, okay, Mark Meadows called in, he's going to be in Hawaii for the next 3 weeks. Hawaii? Aloha. It's like, what? So if that happens, I'm just here to report what's going on. And sure enough, I'm here to tell you what's true and what's incorrect. What's really incorrect is that bailout of states, now valued at $915 billion, by the Temple of Doom, when states really only need $200 to $300 billion. But, and this is a big but, and this is new this afternoon, the president's conversations about that could be dramatically changing the situation. That's why you have to tune into the next broadcast. Really a shocker. Go to the front of this channel and hit the subscribe and alert button. We're trying to add some more subscribers. We're trying to add 25,000 new subscribers in 2 weeks, and we're already on path. We're about 233, so we're trying to reach 250 in the next 2 weeks. So let's keep it up. Share this video on Twitter, share the video on Facebook, tell your friends to tune in and watch in. And finally, like this video. Every time you like the video, it really helps. It sounds so nice. It sounds so sort of silly, just hit a thumb. Does the thumb really help? I mean, yeah, even a thumb can do wonders for people. For purposes of videos, it can do real wonders, apparently. Yesterday's video on afternoons, this one yesterday got 13,000 likes, I believe it was, so thank you so much. It helps this video appear higher in the ranks than other videos, which I watched this morning, and boy, they're just really pushing some really untrue stuff out there. It's really scary. I'm sorry if you've had to tune in, and the bottom line is don't ask me to comment on their stuff, because boy, it's really off base. It's just not even like, how do you like my pink shirt today? I mean, that's basically what it is. This is not a pink shirt. But with that, stay with me. Coming up next is our special report about what's going to happen in lieu of new comments about state and local, especially for your second stimulus check. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused, and stay up LA for more.